At Shan Academy, a magical school with a dark side, students must survive brutal tests that reveal the true nature of power, betrayal, and love. As one girl faces harsh challenges, she uncovers the dangerous battle between good and evil, and her pivotal role in the fight. This is a test of the school for good and evil. Sophie just showed her smile in the mirror. There was a shining star on her head. It means that Sophie passed the exam with full marks, and Agatha's smile was worse than crying. There was a black smoke on her head. It means that Agatha failed the exam. When she heard that the students in the third door would turn into animals at first, Agatha didn't believe it, because this is the kindest magic school in the world. But when she saw the little white lotus hanging free, she was surrounded mercilessly, and then she screamed in pain. She turned into pieces and dispersed in the air. She just realized the cruel side of the school for good and evil. But when she protested against Lady Lesso, the other party said that the school rules could not be changed. Then she continued to attend her magic class. This class is to teach them how to make their wishes come true by using small animals. The first girl walked to the lake. She just put her fingers in the water. Immediately, the little fish turned into a boy. She made a promise of love to the girl. The other girls were in trouble. Only Agatha was still immersed in the tragic encounter of the little white lotus. So, when it was her turn, she made a wish. "I wish for hope for all of us." In the next second, the little fish in the water formed a whirlpool. She wrapped Agatha's arms layer by layer. In the eyes of the crowd, the little fish turned into a human form. She was slowly pulled out of the water. It turned out the girl was a student who failed the exam 100 years ago. She had been trapped in the water to fulfill other people's wishes, and Agatha was the first to make her wish come true. After expressing her gratitude to Agatha, the girl turned into countless golden particles and went into the air. This scene made Lady Lesso excited. It turns out the school for good and evil had long lost its true kindness. It had become a place to be loyal to oneself, and just now, Agatha showed the greatest power of sympathy. She is the talent that the school has been looking for. Compared with the good education of the good school, the teacher at the opposite evil school is much more sincere. All the students he wanted showed the worst side. The first one was a second-generation rich man. In his opinion, the most evil is the werewolf. So he used his strength to start working. In the end, only a wolf's hair grew. This made the teacher extremely disappointed. Let the second-generation rich man calm down. The second one is the descendant of a witch. He only saw her eyes turn white and said something. In the blink of an eye, she turned the desk into chocolate. Then she took a piece and put it in her mouth. Is there anything more evil than destroying public property in front of the teacher? The teacher was speechless. Obviously, the students this year had no knowledge of evil. The last hope is on Sophie. Although she had always said she should belong to the good school, the teacher knew the sorting of the school would never go wrong. There must be evil power in Sophie, but Sophie still insisted on being in the wrong place. This caused other classmates to be unhappy. One girl decided to teach this white lotus well, so she pulled up her black hair. The evil dragon tattoo on her neck was exposed. With the teacher's excited cheer the next second, the tattoo came to life and pierced the skin of Gertrude. In Sophie's eyes, the evil dragon rose from the back of the other girl. Sophie ran with her legs down. The evil dragon couldn't let go of his neck. He could only hit it hard. At the same time, Gertrude's face was burning. He was so angry that he quickly pushed the evil dragon again. This time, he insisted on burning Sophie alive. Everyone was watching. Sophie could only shout at the window. Until the next second, a group of yellow bees broke in through the window, wrapped the whole evil dragon. No matter how hard Gertrude walked, she couldn't get rid of the yellow bees' encirclement. With the constant covering up, Gertrude finally lost consciousness, falling on the ground, constantly twitching. The teacher hurriedly asked Sophie to stop. The confused Sophie could only give an order to the yellow bees, but the next second, the yellow bees, under the attention of everyone, fused into a human form. And the moment they saw each other, the teacher was shocked. It turned out he was Rafal, the principal's younger brother, also the founder of the School for Evil. For thousands of years, the two brothers fought fairly for good and evil. Rafal then disappeared mysteriously. The School for Evil has never won against the School for Good since then. At the same time, Agatha, who was in the School for Good, also found some unknown secrets. This is the exclusive course of the School for Good. The teacher asked the students to put their hands in the water, make a wish. Others wanted to see their loved ones. Only Agatha wanted to take the little girl home. Make a wish to let everyone go home. Suddenly, the fish in the water began to float, slowly becoming a human form. It turns out that every student who comes to the school has a fixed wish. As long as they fail 3 times, they will disappear for no reason. And the little girl in front of her had failed once. It was Agatha's wish to save her. At this time, a big bird flew past. Everyone was frightened and fled. Only Agatha noticed the girl's fingers had just disappeared. Just when Agatha was ready to confirm, Tedros, the prince with a sense of justice, appeared, but he killed the little girl. Tedros thought this was heroic, but Agatha punched him. The scene was in chaos. The teacher dispersed everyone. But all this changed Agatha's impression of the school for good. The teacher tried to explain. Because Agatha looked most like the good school's princess, she hoped Agatha would stay. But at this time, how could Agatha listen? She came to the canteen, wanted to tell Sophie some unknown secrets. Before she finished, Sophie was taken away by the guards, locked in the school for evil's canteen. No one knows what she experienced inside. When Sophie came out of the canteen, she was completely changed. She no longer chose to disguise herself, but to face her heart. Finally, under Sophie's crazy pursuit, Tedros was completely defeated. Due to the struggle between the two schools, the students on both sides didn't recognize each other. The good students didn't want Tedros to fall, and the evil students didn't want to save Tedros. In the end, the battle between the two sides even drew the attention of the school's seniors. For fairness, the principal decided to let Sophie and Tedros take a test. Both had to go in opposite directions. If they could find each other before dawn, it would prove they were true love. But Sophie had never been to the Black Forest. She didn't know how dangerous it was at night. She thought everywhere must be safe. Unexpectedly, in the flower bed, she was chased by a group of people. It was hard to get out. She also drew the attention of the pumpkin puppets. Agatha heard Sophie screaming inside. She was worried, so she violated the rules, turned into a little bird, flew in to help Sophie escape danger. The two heard Tedros' voice. Agatha joined forces to hide. Let Sophie go find Tedros. At this time, Tedros was fighting the pumpkin puppets, but he wasn't strong enough because Sophie didn't truly love him. His goal was to find true love, change his fate. However, this move reminded Tedros. He asked Sophie to hold the sword, but Sophie had already been scared by the scene. Tedros was about to die. Agatha joined forces to take the sword. Tedros also took the opportunity to kill the pumpkin puppets. After this test, Tedros saw Sophie's true intention. He took out the magic handkerchief, gave up the test, but surprisingly, after that, Sophie didn't reflect on her actions. Instead, she blamed Agatha. This is Tedros' punishment, and that selfish, evil heart completely awakened Rafal. Finally, under Rafal's temptation, Sophie was completely corrupted. Under his guidance, she learned forbidden blood magic from the abyss. Once learned, it grants strong, dark energy and changes a person entirely. Teachers from both schools rushed to the library, but it was too late. They turned to the Eternal Dance Party, a special ball for the school for good. Everyone was dancing happily. At that moment, Sophie suddenly broke in. Her appearance changed drastically. She hoped Tedros would date her again, but Tedros had lost interest. She didn't expect. That's exactly what she wanted. Guards rushed in to protect Tedros, but Sophie easily overpowered them with blood magic. Agatha pleaded with Sophie not to give in to evil, but Sophie said they were enemies. Unless one of them dies, the story will never end. Then she turned around. At that moment, guards ran in with serious faces. Everyone rushed to the hall, but found the teachers had all turned into corpses. This made everyone furious. They picked up weapons to fight back. Agatha tried to stop them, but no one listened, because from beginning to end, the bad guys attacked first. If the good guys fight back, no one knows what will happen. Agatha knew it was Sophie's fault. She disguised herself as a white dove and flew into the school for evil, but saw the evil students dancing. It turned out Sophie was throwing a festival party. She didn't seem like her old self. When the good school broke in, the battle started. When the good attacked, they had already lost. Because when good becomes evil, they lose power. When evil becomes good, they gain more power. This was Sophie's trap. She wanted to flip the balance, but didn't realize she had been corrupted. Seeing the chaos, Sophie was deeply affected. Then she became evil. She flew into the principal's office, tried to rewrite her story, but didn't expect. Rafal was the mastermind. He never disappeared. He killed the real evil principal, disguised himself. He corrupted the good from the inside, strengthening himself. He wanted full control of both good and evil, but to finish the task, he needed a true love's kiss. Sophie didn't hesitate. She kissed him. But the school started collapsing. Everyone would die. Rafal deceived Sophie. Everything he built was pure evil. Sophie knew she had made a mistake, but it was too late. Just then, Agatha rushed in. Even now, she wanted to save her friend, but Rafal didn't want Agatha to ruin his plan. He tried to strike, but Sophie blocked the blow. Sophie died. The kiss's power vanished. The castle recovered. All the dead came back to life. The prince sneaked in, but he was nearly killed. Fortunately, Agatha picked up the magic sword and struck Rafal down. After peace returned, Agatha held Sophie, crying, but when her tears touched Sophie, a miracle happened. Their fairy tale was rewritten. Both schools united. In the end, and Agatha and Sophie chose to return to their remote town. After that, their friendship became unforgettable. But suddenly one day, a sharp sword pierced the gate between worlds. Clearly, their story wasn't over. Everything was just beginning.